Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Town of Delafield Board of Supervisors meeting for Tuesday, March 12th, 2024. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Supervisor Miller,
Present.
Supervisor Wolfley,
Present.
Supervisor Michaels,
Present.
and Chairman Kranek.
Present.
Thank you.
Citizens' comments. Public comments from citizens regarding items on or not on the agenda. The board may not engage in discussion with the citizens making the comments. Individual presentations are limited to 3 minutes, and citizens shall follow the rules set forth in section 2.04 paren 1 paren D of the town code. Please.
President, right, sir?
Chairman,
Chairman, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Green. Do you mind if I start here?
go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Green. My name is Mike Thurston. I'm a deputy DA here in Waukesha County. And I'm trying to make my way around all of our local leaders here in Lake Country all across the county because I want to talk about, in my opinion, respectfully, the most important thing we have to decide come August. Honestly, I think it transcends our planning commissions, our village boards, our town boards, and that is safety all across our county. Safety for our little guys. I got a 2.5-year-old son. Safety. And right now, we're at an inflection point. My boss, DA Sue Opper, is retiring at the end of this year. I'm one of her 3 deputies, meaning I manage a third of our office. We are at a point right now in Waukesha County where borders don't stop. Our borders along the eastern part of our county transcend our entire county. I just was at the Village of Shaniqua board last night. Here's some of the issues that we face that don't just stop, in Menominee Falls or the Village of Butler. Human trafficking. We're working all the time with the city of Butler, the city of Brookfield on human trafficking issues. Internet crimes. Here in the town of Delafield, the town of Oconomowoc, we have cases where people are coming into those communities from Chicago and elsewhere. We have elder abuse crimes. We have a total breakdown in families and homes in Milwaukee that are leading to stolen cars and on and on. So I just wanted to come around. I wanted to show everybody respect here. I appreciate everybody's time. As a deputy DA here in Waukesha County, I supervise our sensitive crimes unit, those cases. I'm proud to say I have the endorsements of every single law enforcement agency here in Waukesha County. The current sheriff, 2 prior sheriffs, DA Bucher, every single police chief, our county deputies association, Milwaukee Police Department, even over 1,000. I know our time is limited. I don't mean to dominate our time. I appreciate it very much, Chairman. If it's okay, I'm just going to leave a couple of pamphlets here on the side, if that's okay, Mr. Green. And I appreciate everybody's time, and thank you for your service to the town of Delafield, you guys. Thank you,
Thank you for
Chairman.
your service.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
Anybody else who wishes to speak? I'm going to close the public comment period and move on to the approval of the minutes from the February 27th, 2024 meeting.
I just had some minor corrections, and they're noted in a track change document I set at each of your desks. So if you have any questions, they should be there.
Motion to approve minutes from February 27th, 2024.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on the floor to approve the minutes from February 27th. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Next item, there's a report on budget sub-accounts and actions to amend the 2023 or 2024 budget. There's a memo in our packet. I'll let Mr. Green explain the memo regarding the proposed budget amendment for the 23.
Okay, so this is a budget amendment regarding our ARPA fund expenditures and revenues. We did not budget for ARPA fund revenues or the expenses, so that includes the loader truck and the down payment for one of our plow trucks. So this amendment is just to show that money in the budget through capital expenses and as transfers from ARPA funds for revenue. And the motion is under the recommendation in the staff report.
I will motion to approve amending the 2023 budget to increase other financing sources, transfer from ARPA fund account 1049-224 by $308,108, and increase capital outlays account 1053310810 by $308,108. You can second it.
Second to approve amending the 2023 budget as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion, budget's amended by 4-0 vote. Next item would be a motion to approve accounts payables and payroll.
Motion to approve payments of checks 67416 through 67420 and checks 67423 through 67448 in the amount of $643,221.22. Additionally, motion to approve payroll checks dated 3/15/24 in the amount of $15,488.93.
Second.
Motion is second to approve accounts payable and payroll. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed. Motion passes 4-0. Next item would be communications. The only communication that we have is that there will be a hearing to annex the Thomas Farm lands into Lake Pewaukee Sanitary District at the next town board meeting on March 26, 2024. There are no other communications at this time. Next item, unfinished business. There is none. That would bring us to new business. Item 9A, discussion and possible action on the following recommendations from the Plan Commission. Tom Beaudry, 229 Lindale Road LLC, read the consideration and possible action on the Toy Box condominium plat and decorations for Lake Country Toy Box vehicle storage located at N47W28229 Lindale Road. Engineer Barbeau.
Thank you. So in front of you, you have a condominium plat, which just want to explain a little bit. It's a little bit different than what we would consider a preliminary plat or a final plat for a subdivision. However, our code requires that we review the plats in a similar manner. So in the similar manner would be Plan Commission reviewed it, as well as the town board is now reviewing it for approval. We do not sign it. It's really just a survey with the showing the condominium units, and these are individual storage units, and there's 11 buildings that are various groupings of units in there, and so really the plat just has like the location of the units, what the insides of the units look like. And then along with that, there's always a declaration, which is a document, a written document, similar to deed restrictions that identify the operation basically of the condominium. And I mean, if it was a truly residential condominium, then you would see actually like the floor plans of the residential building that would be put on there. There are, in your packet you saw, there are floor plans. They're very simple. It's a garage with a bathroom and some smaller items there, balconies. So the Plan Commission recommended approval of that. That was a unanimous recommendation, 7-0. I just want to mention about the declarations. The Plan Commission had a lot of discussion about certain conditions that we wanted to put onto the development during the stage that we reviewed the site plan, grading plan, architectural plans. And so I'm just going to go through those that are in the document now, just briefly, just so everybody understands. There's a section that talks about it's just restricted to non-residential use. Okay, that's in there. No business may be conducted from any unit. No office at which customers or clients customarily visit, and such use is specifically prohibited. No storage of hazardous materials or hazardous waste except for gasoline that's in the vehicles that are in the garages. Units shall not be used for personal overnight stays. No garbage or rubbish container can be placed in the common areas. That would be the areas basically outside the units. So the intent is the garbage containers would stay within the units there, and there would be obviously a private garbage disposal company that would have to come and take care of them. What's been added is at the Plan Commission meeting, the day of the Plan Commission, we understood that the owner would like to have the option to have outside air conditioning units on some of the units. Wasn't necessarily going to put them on all of them. Most of those units would be inside the building, but wanted the option to have, if someone wanted to put the air conditioning unit, the condenser on the outside, then we wanted to have that in that, he wanted to have that in the declarations. So I proposed language that basically allowed the air conditioning condenser unit to be in the rear of the building, outside, and then the landscaping and the unit that's outside would have to be maintained. It's on common, what we call common areas, but it would have to be maintained by the unit owner. We talked at the Plan Commission level about leasing. In the declarations, they talk about leasing.
Does the 6 months comply with our town statutes?
It's
It's a minimum of 6 months for a lease.
a minimum of 12 months. 12 months. So we have, so they may lease up to, so what we're saying is that Tom, or whoever is the declarant, whoever owns it, can lease up to 6 units. So as he's building a unit, if he gets a unit done, he could lease that unit before someone buys it. So he could have up to 6 units leased, and then for up to 12 months. And that's as the owner of the property he's the declarant. And then written, what they wrote into their own requirements in the declaration was that once that unit is conveyed to an owner, then that owner can lease it, okay? But they can only have up to 12 units being rented or leased at any one time. Okay, so what we're saying is the potential could be the owner, Tom, could lease 6 of them as he's building them, and then if maybe half of them are done, there could be up to 12 other owners leasing it. That's not the intent, but there's some options in there for leasing. There was some, and then just so we're clear on another statement in here, if someone owns it, they don't have to lease it to their, like a relative of any sort. I think it says in here, a parent, child, spouse, domestic partner, sibling, grandparent, or grandchild by blood, adoption, marriage, registered domestic partner. So the family of that person that owns that can use that without, it's not going to be a lease. It's all part of the ownership there. And then the only other thing that I want to mention is they had in regards to leasing, is that they had a section in here about a special hardship exception where the board of the condominium could grant exceptions to the number of leases if the people would come in and kind of prove that they have a hardship, and that board would consider the information and decide that they could allow an exception based on that hardship. I'm recommending that be removed. We haven't really talked about it yet, but that was a suggestion to remove that, partly because I'm concerned about the board is going to be made up of those people that own those places, and so what's going to define a hardship? For us, when we have a variance or someone comes in with a hardship, we have a Board of Appeals, and that's kind of the guidelines for Board of Appeals is the state law. So there is some guidelines under which we have to look at hardships as a community. This group might say, to all their friends, I'm not saying that it will happen, but they could say to everybody, well, sure, go ahead and lease. The definition of hardship isn't defined in here, so it could be anything. I'm concerned that we would have too many leases out there on this property. It's supposed to be owner occupied. If it's owner occupied, it's going to stay looking good. It's going to stay, people are going to keep it up. That's my opinion on that. The way the Plan Commission went on this is that they recommended that the plat be approved, but also that the staff review the declarations. We're not a party to the declarations, but we can provide input so it doesn't go against our code. So the Plan Commission said the staff can look at the final document and provide that approval when the final document comes in. I've said a lot, so if you have questions, I'll try to answer questions.
So you've reviewed the declarations, and on the whole, they're in compliance with the town code, but you've made one recommended change. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, has that
Well,
changed?
I recommended a couple, and I added the air conditioning unit, suggested to add the air conditioning unit, and then the lease, just the lease to take out the special exception for
The
hardship.
special section is still in here, so have your changes been rejected or accepted, or we're still waiting response?
We're still in that process. Those were sent to Tom yesterday? Yeah, I got your comments back yesterday. Yeah. Yep.
Sure. So when we have open changes that haven't been agreed to, Mr. Chairman, do we wait for those changes to be made or finalized?
Well, I guess that's up to this body. I mean, my opinion would be that we can approve them contingent on the town staff, working to ensure that those changes are accepted and up to satisfaction of the direction that we've provided.
Agree.
Okay.
I would say that if these terms of the lease hardship change in some way but not are eliminated, I may recommend, and I'd work with Dan we may recommend it comes back to you. Just because leasing was a concern. Let's just put it at the plan commission level, leasing was a concern. And so the idea was to try to limit the leasing, but not be overburdensome on the leasing.
Yeah, I don't want to be burdensome to Tom in any way, but the whole process has gone through based off of a condo owner occupied
I agree.
process, right? So to deviate from that would be a very different process. I mean, now it's a rental review that goes through the plan commission. So I do tend to agree with your opinion on this, that, I mean, the body of the condo association has no motivation to say no to a hardship, right? I mean, at no point would they be incentivized to say no. We're the only ones incentivized to say no because of the process it's gone through. So I would be fine with approving it, subject to that being accepted. And if not, we can have a whole nother discussion, and that's fine. That's totally within everybody's right to
No,
do.
I would agree with you, Supervisor
Okay.
Michaels, that the intent, the entire time that this has been discussed at the plan commission level and the town board level was that the intention was that these were owner occupied, and if the intent changes and they're unable to work on declarations to make that clear, then it needs to come back to this body and we need to reexamine it, or and needs to be
Sure.
So
kept.
the true potential here is that there could be at any one time, if he still is the declarant or the owner, he could have 6 leases he's got 6 leases, but then owners could have 12 leases. So there could be 18 units out of 47 being leased at any one time, if that ever happened. But that would be the limit. And we don't know how this is going to go, to be honest with you.
It's
I think
different.
the intent is all there to be owner occupied, and I think Tom he's been on board since day one that he wanted to be owner occupied. These are going to be high-end, buildings, and so the idea of leasing it doesn't, I don't know if that's going to work or not, but at least we're limiting the total number that get leased at any one time.
And I think if you remove leasing completely from the restrictions, then it's just like any other owner-occupied building where we have no restrictions if somebody wants to rent their home or if they want to rent their condo. So at the very least, he's putting a limit to how many of those leases or rentals there could be, and a time limit for how long those leases are.
Here's my question for you. What do you consider long-term rental or short-term rental?
Oh, I'm sorry. The lease for those, the 12 units, that can only be for 12 months. I'm sorry, and that's what's written in this document.
Oh, you did say that earlier.
So Tim, just to,
I think that's what.
sorry, I don't want to
what it
bog you
says.
down, but on page B6, it says the lease must be for a term of at least 6 months, but no more than 12. Which is what I was referring to earlier, when it said they can
Okay.
lease it for 6. And
Read that again, I don't have it.
for any lease permitted or otherwise, the unit owner must comply with the following: writing, entire unit, must be for a term of at least 6 months.
At least 6,
And no more than 12.
but no more than 12.
No more than 12.
Yeah.
So you can have 6-month rentals.
You're talking, and that's in the
Of the
section of the
12.
12, right? The 12 units?
For any lease permitted or otherwise. So I mean, so that would be the 6 plus the 12. And then assuming you remove the hardship exemption.
Right.
So we're okay with 6-month leases, is the question, because that's how it reads right now.
I guess that would be I don't think the plan commission actually addressed 6 months.
Well, we didn't have declarations,
Yeah.
so we didn't
Yeah.
know the language. When I read it, I thought, okay, 6 months, are we now falling into the short-term rental?
Well, that's exactly why,
yeah.
you know, we need to,
Well, I think
Yeah.
a short-term rental is anything less than
that's,
30 days.
to me,
Okay.
it's
That's how the
short-term
state
rental,
statute
that's what I
Statute's
think.
30 days? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, I mean, it's fine on its face. I mean, as long as we're all comfortable, as long as it doesn't go against the town code, right? As long as it doesn't take us from long-term rental into the, Airbnb short-term rental things that we approve from time to time, right?
Yeah, and that's residential, so it gets a little,
Yeah.
we don't really have a code that's going to address this particular use as a short-term rental.
But see, that's why I'm not comfortable with the whole idea of leasing if it's a commercial.
Well, they're condos.
Condos.
It's property owned by a single owner.
Okay, so it's not deemed commercial at all, it's residential?
This would be considered
Well, not
a
storage.
condominium. It's a commercial, I would consider it a commercial condominium, but there's no business that can be in those units.
I mean, it's zoned M1, so.
Yeah. We say that, there's no business that can be conducted in those units. No one can run a business out of
Right.
there.
I did hear that earlier.
I guess my question on the lease term portion, that at least 6 months, but no more than 12, I mean, is the intent here that you're not renewing those? Like, hey, you could lease this space and you've got it for a year while I'm selling it, or would you say, well, no, if you want to, we're going to renew this every year for these 12 that are available and to be rented?
They don't have an exact answer to it, but I mean.
As long as they sign a year lease.
It would be, in my mind, it would be one of the 12. So yes, someone could, I suppose, lease it for a longer time if that's not one of,
Just have
if
to
it's one of the
re-up it.
12.
You just
Right.
If it's one of the 12.
How the original leasing came up. All of a sudden,
They go
interest
slow.
rates go through the ceiling. Contract, we gotta be able to lease.
All right, well, I will motion to approve the Toy Box condominium plat dated February 28th, 2024, subject to the owner's acceptance of town staff's recommended changes to the declarations.
Second.
Motion is second to approve the condo plat with the condition that town staff has to ensure that declarations are approved. Motion is second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries 4-0.
Thanks.
Next item, Jacob Roy, W298N2808 Shady Lane. Consideration of possible action on a certified survey map to eliminate an internal lot line lot combination to clarify lot line location in anticipation of house improvements. Again, Engineer Barbeau.
It's very simple. It was a certified survey map that took out, they had a lot with just an add-on of another lot. So the line kind of went through his driveway and his, I think, mostly his driveway. And so they wanted to combine it so that they can do something on the property. This was approved over a year ago, but there's a requirement in the state statutes that requires that you can't get it recorded unless, you have to record it within 12 months of the last municipal approval, and that expired. And so Mr. Roy came back, submitted the same document that we approved well over a year ago on that particular thing. Nothing changed. it's still adequate. We have to, actually, we have to change some names and dates, and that's about it for that. But Plan Commission recommended approval 7-0, and I do the same for the town board.
I recommend conditional approval of the CSM prepared by C3E Geomatics, revised October 26, 2002, subject to the revisions raised by the town, county, and staff for W298 N2808 Shady Lane.
I would just correct the date of the CSM is actually January 30th, 2024. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the CSM. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, motion carries 4-0. The CSM is approved. Next item, discussion of possible action on the approval of vacation rental renewal licenses for KA Homes Investments, Kyle Miller, agent for the property located at W304 and 2501 Maple Avenue, and Andy and Shayla Fallon for the property located at N28 W29868 Oakwood Grove Road. Minister Green, do you have any comments besides what's in our packets?
No additional comments. They've filled out the renewal letter that was sent to them a few weeks ago, and I don't have any issues with the two that are in front of you, and I have no complaints over the past year for these two properties.
Motion to approve renewal?
Second.
Motion and second to approve the vacation rental renewals as stated. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. The vacation rental renewals are approved. Next item, item 10, announcements, planning items. Town board meeting Tuesday, March 26, 2024 at 6:30. There's that public hearing for the annexation to LPSD. There is a spring election and presidential preference election on Tuesday, April 2nd. The polls are open from 7 a.m. till 8 p.m. And then there will be a town board meeting on Tuesday, April 9th at 6:30, and then the annual meeting of electors, followed by a town board meeting, will be on April 16th at 6:30 p.m.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Motion second to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned 4-0.
Dana will not be present at the 26th March meeting.